Good morning, PSWs and friends across Ontario and Canada. Welcome to PSW Podcast, where we come to you guys live, normally on Fridays at 11 a.m. But this week it is a Thursday at 11 a.m. as the offices are closed tomorrow for our Canada Day long weekend. I am Miranda Romanowicz. I'm the CEO of the Ontario PSW Association and the Canadian Support Workers Association and host of PSW Podcast. And today I am joined by Heather Mayo, who is the Director of Education for the Ontario PSW Association and the creator of our wonderful new professional development center that OPSWA has launched probably about 2 months ago, right, Heather?
Yeah, about 2 months ago, back in mid-April, I think we launched. Yeah. So
Great,
hello.
great. Hello. So welcome to the podcast, Heather. Let's get into it. So can you please tell our PSWs and those watching, what is the Professional Development Center?
Yeah, absolutely. So most professions, whether you're a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, professions have professional development, which essentially means you work at upgrading your skills, keeping them fresh, staying aware of best practices, new technologies. Working on yourself and self development is often a big part of that. And so, as a team here at OPSWA, we've put together the Professional Development Center to help our professional PSWs upgrade those skills and give them the resources to do that professional development work.
Which is really cool. And I was excited about it, Heather, because, with the HESCA-POA coming in with the new regulations and regulatory structure for PSWs that eventually will be made mandatory, it's going to be important for PSWs to maintain their professional status, which is upgrading and maintaining their skill set. And so we have some great courses, but I want to point out for OPSWA members that are watching this, or those that are on the fence about becoming an OPSWA member, all members receive 50% off all of OPSWA's professional development training. Correct, Heather?
Absolutely correct. They can find that course code in their membership profile on the OPSWA website. And they can get the course code during the checkout process. They put that course code in or that coupon code in the checkout, and it will reduce their course fees to 50% off, which
Like
is a
it.
fantastic deal and unheard of. You really don't see a lot of discounts on professional development. And the price point, we've really worked to keep those reasonable for all members as well. So it's a reasonable price point and then an extra 50% off, which is absolutely fantastic. We've also worked to keep the courses online accessible. So PSWs actually retain access to the content in the Professional Development Center. So it doesn't matter where they go, if they change locations, if they change jobs, they still maintain their access to the content in the course materials. And that was really important for me. I know some of my professional development, I've done it through a business or through my employer. And when I changed employers, I didn't have access to that anymore. And sometimes I want to look back at my notes or the resources, and we've tried to pack a lot of extra resources and things in those courses that the PSWs get to keep and hold on to that even after their live session is done.
So every single course that is offered by OPSWA, seminar, workshop course,
Yep.
that's all done online,
Yes.
and they all receive certificates of completion at the end.
This is correct. They get a certificate, and the certificate has a link. It can be shared on social media, just like they're finding us today. They can also share that link with employers to show them, hey, look at this professional development I did. Employers can click on the link and verify that it was done through OPSWA. They can look at the course outlines and see, does this meet our requirements? Because that's an important piece as well as we move into regulation and having to meet those professional needs. It allows the PSWs to have access to that resource and that content and that documentation that's always so important.
I find, Heather, I mean, the PSW profession back from I graduated in 2006, it wasn't a very competitive market back there because there wasn't enough of us. But now we're finding that the competition is very real and it's very, very competitive for PSWs in the field. And I wanted to point out as well, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, is we actually have the opportunity for PSWs to specialize through the Professional Development Center, correct?
Absolutely. So right now we have a specialization. It's our autism community service provider. It is exclusive to OPSWA members. And it is a full day certification course. You get the certification certificate at the end. They would get an upgraded OPSWA badge with the certification designation on there. And it's on supporting individuals in the autistic community. So looking at their needs, how can you support them? What extra do you need to know? All of that kind of content built in. Yeah.
I think it's really cool. And we've had a lot of conversations surrounding this because I think a lot of members of the public don't necessarily think that, or even PSWs don't necessarily think or know that they can work with individuals on the autism spectrum. And we're not just talking about children, we're talking about all ages on the autism
Yes.
spectrum. And PSWs are in high demand in home care, private home care, particularly for this type of training. So I'm excited that we have this training. Who did we partner with on that again?
We partnered with Open Minds in Cambridge to do that, which is a PSW led center supporting autistic individuals, specifically more adults and ones where there aren't as many community supports available. And that's really where the PSWs have the opportunity to step in and embrace that training and that support. The other thing we're really starting to see in community is that as our life expectancies are living longer and as our understanding of mental health has increased, we're seeing more and more people with mental health diagnoses, with autism diagnoses, with ADHD diagnoses, often coming later in life as our understanding of those has developed and evolved. And having that training and support is really going to allow you to support members in long-term care, in private practice. It really gives you that better understanding of where to meet your clients in the moment, because we're seeing a lot of older adults that maybe didn't get diagnosed, but actually need those supports as well.
Yeah, we are hearing that a lot actually from a lot of different long-term care homes where they're dealing with behaviors like they've haven't never had to deal with
Yeah.
because these individuals cannot unfortunately function in society on their own, and the only place for them to go, truthfully, is a long-term care facility. And so this training, I mean, and it takes up a day. Like I
Yeah.
think Heather, you've been really good at keeping the information there, everything they need to know. It's very involved. It's very in the moment, and
Yes.
but it's done online, and PSWs can work a morning shift and then go home and do the course on mental health
Yes,
in the afternoon.
absolutely.
Like we're not keeping them from their work. We work around your guys' schedules so that you guys can still do these courses and be competitive in your workplaces. I mean, because everyone talks about, well, I want to upgrade. I don't just want to be a PSW anymore. I love being a PSW, but I need more. I want to upgrade. And they always go to nursing. And I'm not against nurses. I mean, honestly, go. If you want to be a nurse, go become a nurse. I think the best nurses are those that started off as PSWs.
Yeah.
However, we have the ability now with the Professional Development Center to specialize personal support workers in certain areas of high demand in Ontario healthcare. And so I think we're looking at the next specialization would be mental health.
Yes. Yeah. We're looking at developing mental health. We're also developing communicating in crisis is another one that's in development right now to work on sort of leading from being part of the team and sort of leading as a team member and really being able to connect, identify when are you going to have those challenging conversations and situations. So that could be dealing with behaviors, that could be dealing with mental health, it could be dealing with an uncomfortable boss, a bad coworker. How do you start to identify that, diffuse that, and communicate through that? We've also got our palliative care course that just launched in June. And that one is focused on helping have the skills to do that palliative care and also end of life. How do you in that transition, what's the difference between the two? I know there's sometimes confusion around palliative versus end of life and hospice care, and that's all covered in that course as well.
It's very PSW focused, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, the palliative care course, we use the Canadian framework and focus specifically on the PSW course of scope of practice so that it is targeted. All of our scenarios, all the case studies, they're all done from a PSW perspective. And I don't think you find specific PSW perspective very often when you're looking for that kind of extra training and support.
Yeah, no, and that's what I like about the ability to do this as an association is we are very PSW focused. Like every course
Yeah.
that you do, everything that we teach is very surrounding about what the personal support worker's job or what our duties entail in that area, as
Yeah,
opposed to like that, a lot of these courses, I mean, I took when I was in mental health, that they'd focus so much on kind of the more leadership positions like the executives and stuff, and that didn't, I mean, it gave me some good ideas, but it didn't really help me understand what my role is as a PSW on the floor.
absolutely. And that's when I look at my management background, my job as a manager was always to make sure that my team had the skills and the training and the resources they needed. As management, it's great if I know about something, but unless my frontline people are taken care of and have the knowledge and the skills, they're not able to support it. And it's the same thing with PSW work. If the manager, the supervisor, the nursing staff, it's great that they know things, but until the PSWs can put that into practice and maintain that in the frontline care positions, we're not supporting them to take care of their job. And that's where the PDC can really kind of step in and help give them that PSW specific training knowledge to help them
Yeah,
provide that level of person centered care that they want to and that they expect to do.
which I love, which I
Yeah.
love, and I think it's really important. And so, Heather, how do they find you?
So they can find me at opswa.com/courses. And there's a link there. It'll bring you to the Professional Development Center. Once you have an account, you can log in, you can check. You can check out our courses, you can find out more about us. You can also check our event calendar. So if you're looking to see when there might be a course offered on a date, check the event calendar. You can click into courses and explore the different course options. And see all of those choices there. And then once you've registered for a course, it will automatically create your login and your account with your password and your email. And then you have access to all of your courses.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I think, this was a really good kind of intro to the Professional Development Center at OPSWA.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll have you on here again so we can
Yes.
talk about it more and more. But for PSWs, this is an opportunity for you guys to really enhance your skills, be competitive in the PSW field. You're already competitive if you're an OPSWA member, because that's what a lot of employers are looking for is OPSWA membership. But with the extra courses and knowledge, then you build your portfolio, which makes you a number one candidate for the really good jobs in Ontario for PSWs. And so I really invite you guys to check out the Professional Development Center, which I'm sure Carly will link below here today once we are done, and she'll link it so you guys can find it. Heather, thank you so much for joining me. Is there
Thanks for
anything you
having me.
want to add that they need to know?
I don't think so. We really work. You can connect with me if anyone has any issues registering or connecting or questions about the Professional Development Center. They can reach out to me. My email is education@opswa.com. So I'm easy to get a hold of and it's easy to remember. And I'm happy to answer questions about courses, programs. We're also always taking feedback on what courses are they looking for. So we've got our Professional Development Day coming up in September. And we're always building and developing new courses. So always looking for feedback for that.
Love it. Thanks very much, Heather. Thanks for joining us on PSW Podcast. We'll see you yet again. Hey, PSWs, hope you guys had a wonderful July 1st. Happy belated Canada Day. We'll be back again next Friday with PSW Podcast. Thank you, Heather. Remember, don't forget about our Professional Development Center or membership with OPSWA. You can head over to the main link here on Facebook or on our TikTok profile. All information is there. If you have any questions, reach out. And with that, I'm going to say have a great day, and OPSWA out.